edit channel.
Ooh, yeah, it looks like we're getting there.
I
Live,
will
live, all the way
gladly.
live.
Yes, and once after we're done with this tonight, I sent you two at the top. Tesla, I don't know. Do I still have you on Facebook? Maybe I don't.
I'm a Facebook ghost. I'm not really, but I'm on Instagram.
Okay, see figures. I wasn't even gonna do it. But anyway, since you two the single right there, so you guys can check out as far as like that artist goes, and then we also have just a lot of instrumentals bought in my Gmail. So and they're paid for and bought, Um, yeah.
Perfect, we're here. All right, here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Loud, Proud, and Sobbing. I'm Shelby. We've got, I don't know who wants to start. Tesla in our bottom left.
Tesla, what's going on? That's me. Hello, world.
We're looking like the Brady Bunch over here right now. We've got Janelle top left, Tia bottom right. We are all here. We're gonna spend a little time talking about how we put this together, why we put this together, why each of us separately wanted to be a part of this, and if we have enough time, we'll dive into like who we are as people. So I'll just start with why I wanted to bring everybody together to do this. And for me, during 2020, we see COVID and we're all home, and with the BLM protests that were going on, and with Trump in office and everything, we just saw, at least I saw, a huge rise in division in our country. And like whether that already existed and it was just under wraps, either way, I think it just became more and more apparent. And my main goal with putting this show together is to kind of like separate us from whatever belief systems create those divides and bring us back down to a place of just like what it means to be human and what it means to experience life on earth. And hopefully from that basis we can promote connecting with people that we might think we're very different from, but maybe we have more similarities that we just haven't explored with people. But with that, I'll let Tia go ahead and talk about how she came here today.
Hello, people. Well, guys, some may know me from Tea Talk, my actual podcast, but I am so excited to join these ladies. I was hit up in a personal message and asked to get with you guys, on just random topics of discussion. And I think everybody knows, if they do know me, I've been a very outspoken person. My opinion is very fluid on so many different topics, and I have not been afraid to share, and address the elephant in the room at any point in time. I like to definitely talk about different topics, but making sure to respect people. But I definitely think we have to watch that fragile line with me, as like I said, I am a little bit of the outspoken one, but I look forward to getting with you guys and talk about so many random topics and more. And these ladies I know from my youth, so this is even wonderful to see at an adulthood, us coming together and being able to speak is wonderful.
Yes, we all really do know each other from whether we were close or not. We all come from pretty similar backgrounds, and like the more people we talk to, I think it'll just come to realization that we are really so common. We've all had so many situations and loops and hoops we've all had to jump through, and I think that's the exciting part, just to have that human connectivity and realize that, hey, the guy next to me in the stoplight's the same person. And as me, as everybody's, we're all one, and just if we could get a comfortable little community going where everybody feels like they have a space to come and talk literally about any and everything, and be able to not feel ridiculed, outcast, shamed, any of that, that's so awesome to me. I hope I on a daily basis do those same things. um, Whether it be anybody I come across, whether it's somebody I'm serving at work, the person next to me in line at the Walmart. um, I think we could all gain a little bit of something from anybody. It's interesting the way human connectivity can happen so fast, and the way it really is all about LOVE.
Amen. Hallelujah. Absolutely.
I got
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Tabernacle.
praise the Lord. We ain't gonna forget that part.
Please raise your left
No.
hand. That can be our new symbol for for ourselves.
What's
All
up,
right,
Jay?
Janelli.
Yeah. Hey.
Janelle, I think you might be muted. Yeah, in Twitch itself. Yeah, it's you. Thank you, Greg. You're so sweet.
Hey. Looking out. We appreciate you guys.
Fix this.
He gave
Hello?
some thumbs up, but I'm not sure if the thumbs up is saying you're working out or if it's just like recognition for the.
Yeah.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? Let me know, Twitch.
Oh, it's working. Yes.
Okay.
It's working.
Okay.
Thank you. Glad
As
you're
Quincy
here.
already texted me.
Oh, no.
Thanks, babe. Okay, well, I'm Janelle. Janelli, Nelly, Jelly. Let's just run that back. Yeah, so Shelby asked me to be on the podcast, and I was just super excited because, I've been disconnected from, I feel like socializing just from the pandemic in the last year. I'm a Gemini, so I'm like looking for that social interaction. I'm just really looking forward to bringing people on and hearing their stories and learning about them, what makes them tick and who they are and what shaped their life now, what their experiences have been. Because I know, me personally, I feel like, I've been through a lot. My life could be a lot worse, but I love learning about new people. And I'm just really looking forward to that. So I'm really excited to be here with you all. I think it's fucking awesome how we all went to high school together. We won't say what that is because there'd be some creepies on here. So, So I learned my lesson there. But, I think it's really cool. Right, right. So I just think it's cool that we can reconnect, like years later as adults. And like you said, I'm just really excited. So, hey, y'all.
Yeah. I just want to add to that. It's really exciting because Janelle and I think, at least for like me, Janelle's probably the person I actually talked to the least. And in high school, we just weren't in the same groups at all. But just in this last, 3 weeks,
Yeah.
I feel like we have just connected so well,
Yeah.
and that's like just so amazing to me.
I
And then
know.
Tia too, like Tia and I, we were in different classes, but she and I, we used to play basketball, and like we have the same sort of like style in the way we would play. So we would always just have so much fun whenever we got the chance to play together because we didn't normally get the chance to do so. And Tesla, my twin, Tesla
Literally.
is just. We've been twins. I don't know how to explain that to anybody because obviously we don't actually look like twins, but like we are like
No, but
energetically.
she's like another hoop. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like I said, me and Shelves, we hoop together, but then me and Tesla, we definitely hoop together. And it's funny seeing, and then, for me, it's funny seeing Janelle, you know what I mean? Because for me, I was always friends with her, her sister,
Mhm.
and my older brother and her went to school together and we're pretty close. So it was kind of cool. She always was like an older sibling, you know what I mean, type of thing.
We live next to each other.
We lived next to each other for a very long
Literally,
time.
very long time.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And
Yeah.
you know, I loved her dad and the energy of the family and stuff. So to be able to, you know, to see you guys is like really great. And then there's Tesla, and it's like you don't understand the conversations that I used to put Tesla in back in the locker room. I remember saying so many crazy things to her, and just asking questions and certain things, and just realizing that, you know, you realize different individuals that you don't know later in life is going to come full circle, and you guys are going to be able to talk about it and like have these moments of like, whoa, who would have knew? But I personally knew, because I would ask those, you know, borderline questions of that personal life. You know, it's really cool to have this platform with you ladies and to be able to go over it. It's really cool.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I guess like I'll start with myself. One of the topics that we're going to be kind of covering for I mean, we don't really know how long, because we don't know to some extent what the hell we're doing, or at least I don't
We
anyway.
don't, girl. We
So
don't.
in any case, and I think that's like one of the things too, like for me, what is like exciting about doing this is just the fluidity and like the natural oh, thank you so much, sister. I said that I wasn't going to respond to people, but then my sister saying things in chat. I love you. And speaking of which, like if we kind of just dive into my identity, I was 14 years old when I found out that I was adopted. And I found out because my little sister, who is not the one that's currently commenting, but my little sister found me on MySpace. If anybody remembers MySpace, my profile was lit. It had the music. It had the fucking background. You didn't see my top friends because my background was so freaking clean and nice.
Yo, what was your profile song though?
I mean, I changed it. Mine changed like on a monthly basis, depending on like what the fuck was
Right.
going on in my life, you know? So I'm sure sometimes it was probably like sad or whatever. I've always been like kind of a weirdly sad person. That's a whole different thing. But yeah, so when I found out I was adopted, I really, to some extent, didn't have any issues with it. But the first question that I asked my parents when we walked out, which by the way, when I say when we walked out, my parents took me to a psychologist to break the news to me. And that was fine. I didn't really have any issues surrounding the adoption itself. But the first thing I asked when I walked out was, so then how Mexican am I? And they were like, you are Mexican. They were like, yep, you are. And both of my parents who raised me are white. And years later, we went back through and like did a DNA test, and theirs both came back 99.9% white European from one little area, and mine was like all over the place. So in any case, none of that to a certain extent has ever really impacted my identity. The things that really impacted my identity were my parents. And the thing that my parents did with me is that, oh, hi, No Kinzo. The thing my parents did with me was they really worked hard to make sure that I knew I was loved. You know, like it didn't matter what else was going on in the world or at school or whatever. Like I could come home and my parents loved and supported me, and they taught me to be kind. They taught me to be compassionate. They taught me to share with people. They weren't perfect. They had a very tumultuous relationship left me with a lot of relationship trauma as a child, which I think we'll probably definitely get into and unpack at some point in time in the course of this. But right now, the things that I really let identify me are that I'm a Scorpio and I'm proud, and I've worked really hard to dispel or at least control the negative traits, which do apply to me, but I consciously make the effort to kind of be above the things that don't exactly sit right in my soul, even if they are kind of my predisposed ways of thinking or being. I'm a single mother, and that is something that certainly impacts my identity and the way that I live and exist in the world. And as a woman, that also greatly impacts me as well. And I think just for me, spirituality, I'm a tarot reader, so I very much believe that we are animals that have souls, and finding a balance between the two of those things is what can help us like grow as humans and evolve our species. But yeah, whoever is ready next to go ahead.
Okay.
Tia,
I've
bring
got
it
a
in.
question for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I feel like I have like 5 questions.
Yeah,
Right,
okay,
because it's been
shoot.
so long. You feel me? Like I took a break off of Facebook as well, so I wasn't able to keep up with so much of the posts and stuff. I remember when you had baby boy. I don't remember the circumstances a little bit. I kind of want to know, the nationality of your baby father. I would like to know maybe how you guys met, and then if you don't mind, kind of a little bit what happened, like how you're on this journey right now, because I had no idea that, you were actually, a single mother, you know what I mean, in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So my son's father, as far as I know, is completely white. Um, I didn't know him very well. We were dating for probably like 2 months. And in the course of that time, I had just like, as we got to know each other, he would kind of say things that I was just like I don't think I really respect that. Like that doesn't sit right with me. And one of those things, which ended up being the one thing that made me end the relationship, was when he told me that he had a son that he wasn't involved with, who was like I think like 8 at the time. And he of course like he put it off on oh, and we met on like Bumble or something, by the way, like just to cover that question. But when I asked, like, why aren't you involved in your son's life? His answer was, oh, baby mom is crazy, like, won't let me be involved, blah, 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 like, whatever reason, right? And I was just like, maybe that's true, but also, like, if you have a child and you want to be involved, then you're going to fight to be involved. And if you don't want to be involved, you're not going to fight to be involved. So, that was the point where I had like broken things off, and I didn't know, but I was actually already pregnant. And
Wow.
so then a month later, after I broke up with him, I found out that I was pregnant. I waited another month because truthfully, I didn't know if I wanted to tell him, because I already kind of had like an inkling of what his character was. But friends and family were like, it's immoral for you to not tell him about his son, or we didn't even know he was a boy at that point, right? But you can't exist with this baby and not tell the father. And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right. Like, that's correct. Okay. So I reached out, and when I did, he I told him, I was like, I just want you to know that like I'm pregnant, and I don't want this to be a reason that we try to rekindle things, because I don't want to have a romantic relationship with you. But if you want to be involved, you can be involved. And I have it was like the week that I was going to hear the heartbeat. And I was like, I have an appointment this week, and you're more than welcome to come if you like. And so he was like, yeah, I'll see if that works. I do want to be involved. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So then the day of the appointment comes, and he said that he was working out of town. And I was just like, okay, no biggie. I'll let you know how it goes. I go to my appointment. They can't find the heartbeat. They schedule me for an emergency ultrasound. So then at like 7 or 8 hours later, I'm in a different place getting an emergency ultrasound. They find the heartbeat. Everything's fine. And I had messaged him that morning at my first appointment when they couldn't find it. I told him, hey, they can't find the heartbeat. They're scheduling me an emergency ultrasound. Never got a text back with that. And then when I told him at the end of the day that they found the heartbeat, I never heard anything from him again. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to let him do, like I'm not going to chase after him. So then when my son was born in August, still hadn't heard from him. My friends, my family were all kind of pressuring me like, Shelby, you should like file for child support, like it's his duty. And I was like, I had already like accepted when I found out that I was pregnant that I was like, I'm gonna be a single mom. So I wasn't really concerned about the child support, but I was like, you know what, maybe something happened, maybe he had a phone change, maybe, you know, like whatever, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So I put in a child support request so that you know, basically so that he could be alerted of the fact that, like, hey, the pregnancy went through, you have a child who exists in the world. And then he got into contact with me. You know, of course he figured out how to find me or whatever. And then, like, he met my son for the first time, which was when Killy was 3 months old, and he held him and, you know, saw him, whatever. That was the last time he seen him. And basically what happened after that was he was dating somebody else, which wasn't an issue for me. I followed her on Instagram. She sent me a message that was like, you don't need to follow me on Instagram. We don't even know if, like, you know, if this guy is the father of your baby or not. Like, you have no business following me until you have a paternity test that proves that he's the father. And I was like, I'm not confused about who the father is. Like, I know who my son's father is, you know? Right. And she already had kids. So then, like, you know, her Instagram was public too. So, like, me following her was like, hey, we are joined by this one person that we both, like, knew, and I would like to know who you are, right? Like, if I wanted to stalk her or whatever, I wouldn't need to follow her on Instagram. Her stuff was public, you know? If I wanted to be lurking or whatever, like, I would have been lurking. But in any case, you know, I told her the story, and the story that he had given her was much, much different. He had told her that when I told him I was pregnant, he started asking me questions, and that like, he was questioning whether he was a father or not, and that I stopped responding, and that I never got back to him. And so at that point, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna set the child support to 0, because I already went into this, like, with the thought that I'm gonna be a single mom. So I set it to 0, and he has never contacted me since. And at the appointment, like the court date that we had together, when I set it at 0, not once did he ask me how my son was doing. Not once did he ask to see him. Not once did he ask to see pictures. Nothing, like, whatsoever. So as far as I was concerned, like, I'm doing what I already, like, agreed with myself that I was gonna do.
Applause to you.
Thank you, Mama.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
because that's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. So I don't get child support. I raise my son, and I'm super lucky.
At the same time, you know, I applaud you for being woman enough to somehow see that, you know, obviously it does take two people to, you know, make a baby and everything like that. But, you know, like, when a man just ain't there, just can't get right, won't do right. So you're just like, listen, I'm not even about to put you in this little pot of, like, debt and just try to, you know, when I already know what it's hitting for, I may not even receive the shit. Then that's when, you know, type of person usually starts working under the table and doing all type of other things to get money just to make sure you don't get your little $100 a week.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm just, that's kudos to you to just even take that stress off of your mind, not even have a card, not a case number, not a file to even worry about that. Because sometimes that's what it is. And I do, for everybody watching, sometimes, unfortunately, we have to break the systematic, you know, stereotypes, because realistically, is mama's baby, daddy's maybe, usually. So you already knew that baby was yours.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It was
But
funny
I'm hella curious. I want Janelle to a little bit run into the whole woo wop, because I'm just actually kind of proud of her, because from watching from a standby, you know, I mean, it's been a long time. Like I said, I've seen her just as a friend. You know, this is like, you know, you look at a person and, you know, you're like, oh, that's my friend's older sister. You know what I'm saying? And she held a job. She had that apartment. Like, she really did the thing. You know what I mean? For us younger kids to look up and be like, damn, like, she really working. Like, so it was pretty cool. But and then it's like she became and made her own name on this whole video game thing. And I'm just so anti-video game that I'm like, not anti-video game, I just suck. So the fact that she is gassed at it has got me like, yes, sis, teach me.
I got you anytime, literally. I'll teach you all the ways. Yeah, no, I mean, that totally ties into my identity, like my story for sure. I guess I'll start talking about that. I mean, you know, I don't really have anything planned for like what I was going to say, because I feel like certain things that are part of me really don't define me. But like she said, I've been working since before I graduated high school. I started really being on my own from a really young age after high school. I came from a family with divorced parents, and that really affected my life. I think it's super underrated how much divorce affects children, how much not having two parents in the home really affects us. Personally, the divorce shook our family. It broke our family up. It happened when I was in third grade, and it definitely shaped me even today. I've spent a lot of time personally, a lot of sad years of my life, shoulda, coulda, woulda, wishing things could have been different, counseling, the works, right? But I really had to learn from a young age that I had to be independent. I had to, be a mom to my younger sister. There was a lot of things, that we went through as kids that I really shielded my sister from, even though she was 2 years younger than me, that she really doesn't even realize to this day. And I had a lot of growing up to do, to be honest, because when you're going back and forth every week, every Friday we go back and forth, that's really hard. You don't have the same clothes, you don't have the same toys, you have two different lives, and you're leading two different lives really as a young child. And so, yeah, I just had to learn to be super independent. If I wanted something done, I had to do it for myself. I started working full-time pretty much right after high school when I was 17. I got my first apartment. I had 3 jobs, and I was going to school full-time. And I tried to make time for my friends, you know what I mean? We had fun, we turn up. I had the whole phase of, let's have fun. It's my own fucking place. We don't gotta worry about parents. So, mistakes happen there. But, I spent a lot of time just, trying to figure out who I was as a person, and still to this day figure out who I am, because I don't really think that as a child it was planted in my mind that I could be something beyond just working a 9-to-5 and going to school and really cultivating my interests and exciting my young mind of what I could do beyond clocking in and out and things like that. So I just happened to fall in love with gaming, and that literally led me to my relationship. Quincy and I have been together for going on 6 years. We met in a Call of Duty lobby. He was kicking my ass, and I was hating him for it, right? And he thought it was funny that he was shitting on me, and I was low-key getting pissed off, right? Because I'm not a bad gamer, right? I can hold it down, okay? I'll be better than the boys, if you know, you know. But yeah, and we just built this friendship, and we moved in together. He lived in Colorado, I lived in California, and we were 1,800 miles away. And so he would just come out to California, visit me. Every visit turned into a longer stay, and yeah, our relationship just started that way. And he eventually moved to California. We lived there for 3.5 years, and then just recently, as 5 months ago, we moved to Denver. So we're back in his home state. I'm super happy to be here. Like I said, my family's small. My family's pretty separated, so to be here is just amazing for me. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of my story, without going into too much and overloading people. But
I have a question.
I have a question. I'm gonna let Tia go, and then I'll go after Tia.
Oh Lord.
So my question is basically, what would you say to those? Because oddly, I can honestly remember being a youngin and wanting to do certain things, and you'd come in the house and you was on mom mode, and it's
Yeah.
like your sister literally, I think at times took it like you just a bitch, like just and it's like
Yeah.
I felt like there was purpose behind it, but you know what I mean? Now looking back, do you ever feel like you could have been a little nicer, or do you feel
Yeah.
like you were just being, you know
For
what I mean?
sure. Yeah, I think it was hard because when you have like your own spot and your own responsibilities and someone just like doesn't understand that. I mean, I'm kind of like the type A personality where I'm like, I'm super responsible. I'm super direct. I'm super like, this shit needs to get done. And I've also like not really been, from a young age, I've like wasn't really a big partier, and a lot of that I think was just us maturing at different times. I definitely think Taryn portrayed me wrong. Okay. But what I will say is we didn't really have a lot of direction from our parents, so that kind of played a lot into it, like, needing to be the responsible one. Without putting anybody on blast, there's a lot of unsafe situations that Janelle saved us from, okay? Okay, so, including jail time. All right, so,
Oh no!
So, we won't even get into that, but we can get into that.
But you guys, yes, the energy that she comes with when she's upset is it can be overtaken. You know what I mean?
I want to know like specifically what you're talking about, because I'm like,
I don't know. I just
remember
you know what
we
I mean.
had like some good times, but I definitely feel like there was some like
there was times where shit got out of hand a little bit, and it being that it's your guys' house, and the situation, that a parent is on the road and may have to come back to, and you are the one holding it down. I think that it wasn't that you were a bitch. I look back at a lot of times, and I was always the one like, she wasn't being a bitch. Like, that's principle. It's my house, and you see me partying in my house. Like, so there were certain things where, you know what I mean, to be things like that, or, you know what I mean, you demanded that attention with your voice and your presence, and people would just be like, oh, wow. Naturally, I feel like, but if you asked me at the same time, like, you came correct about moral, a lot of things. I think that people were judged by the image of who was saying it, because let somebody else had said it and it may have not been, oh, she's a bitch, but like, oh, okay, you know what I mean, like, I think she's upset, you know what I mean, so I it was that a lot.
I mean, like, we can talk about too, like, just as far as like my own personal growth, right? I think perception is like a really big thing. So like not being able to perceive how I'm coming off has been something that I've had to learn. I wasn't always like the person that was like making, oh, I'm gonna make the cool decision. I've never been a yes person like my entire life. I think it just comes from like wanting to keep people safe and wanting to make sure, like other things played into it, like getting threatened to like get kicked out of the apartment for the noise level, and smoking inside of the apartment, and partying all the time, and shit happening, when you're kids. And like I'm like kind of a mom, but I'm not a mom. I'm still a young kid, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to keep shit in order. I let a lot of shit slide. But I mean, I was young. Don't judge me. I was trying to keep shit going. It's hard.
Real quick,
my sister and I are really different, but yeah, go ahead.
That's facts. So she was the baby, so it is a lot different. But I wanted to know, as far as the viewers right now that do want to tune in, that don't know exactly where to go, Janelle, will you let everybody know where are we at? We at Twitch. What exactly site can people go watch this live? And
yeah, so we're live on twitch.tv/loudproudsobbing. And if you guys are interested in joining our Discord, I will link that now in the chat.
And everybody is welcome to join our Discord. One of the reasons that we have chosen to use Twitch is because we wanted our recordings to be airing live and have the capacity for us to interact with people who are watching, because again, like, that's one of our goals, is bridging connections between people. So if you guys have any questions for us, like, go ahead, fill up the chat, like, ask us questions or say anything that you want to say as well. And that's also what the Discord is for, so that when we are not actively live, you guys can talk about topics that you want to see. You guys can even say, like, hey, I want to come be a guest on this show, or I know somebody who wants to come be a guest on this show. Like, we want to feature as many people and experiences as we possibly can to really bridge connections. At the end of the day, we want to bring people together. But go ahead, Janelle, sorry.
No, that's great. Yeah, this can be all watched later on when we're not live. You guys can rewatch. Take bad screenshots of us. Please don't do that.
And post them everywhere.
But yeah, and we're also on Instagram. Instagram handle is Loud Proud Sobbing as well. So yeah, we'd love you guys to join the Discord. Get involved. Definitely. We are planning on having multiple guests. Probably a rotation of co-hosts. You probably won't see all four of us every single week, but we're going to be live, doing a live podcast for about 1 to 2 hours Wednesdays at,
I think 8:30
Pacific time.
Sometimes we do have some people that are going to be from like the Midwest or from the East Coast, or we have people that like work at night. So sometimes that time might change and bump up to like 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But for the most part, we're really going to try to keep it at 8:30, despite our technical difficulties today in trying to understand how we're doing this.
Yes. We're getting it together. But yeah, so, I mean, what other questions do you guys have?
Oh, yeah.
What more do you want to grill me on, Tia?
Yeah, I had a question, and now I'm like, shoot, what was my question? But it was about like the splitting, because, you know, for me, my parents had like a very tumultuous relationship, and like I remember being, you know, in 3rd grade and being like, I wish they would just divorce. Like, my life would be better if they like weren't together, which is like so sad, because like now there's times where I'm like, man, like I wish I could take a trip with my parents, because that's like one of the things I value the most. And I guess I'm kind of wondering for you, like, your parents split when you were so young. So do you feel like you miss aspects of your parents being together, or do you feel like you didn't even really get the chance to have like a full scope of what it meant to see your parents together because of how young you were?
You know, to be completely honest, I now think my parents weren't meant to be together. They were married for 17 years. They waited 4 years before they had my brother, and he's 4 years older than me. But I definitely think everything happens for a reason now. Back then, it happened so abruptly. It wasn't like a sit-down conversation where we were like, all right, mom and dad are going to live in different spots. It was very abrupt, very sudden. We didn't really get answers. I think the biggest part that I missed out on and that really affected me was the financial aspect of having 2 single parents. You know, there's like psychology behind what being low income does to a child, having to worry about like money from a really young age. You know, like I grew up, we were on food stamps, we had subsidized housing, we didn't really always have a working car, and you know, it wasn't like all of our needs were fulfilled. And I just feel like from a financial aspect that really did affect things. Like personally, I got good grades and I did put out those college applications when the time came, but I didn't really know that I could like take out loans or things like this. And it was kind of presented like, oh, I got into this school, and it's like, well, how are you going to go there? you don't have a car. What are you going to do? Like, we can't get you down there. And really, like, figuring out things, that's what made me so independent. You know, being with two single parents, we did benefit a lot from, social and government programs and things like that, which is, why I'm like an avid supporter of that. And, but as far as like my parents' relationship together, I don't really know what I missed out on. I don't really remember my parents being together. My parents didn't talk to each other either. Like, they would communicate through us. So, being a kid, you're like, oh, I'm supposed to go to this. I have this soccer game or this basketball game or whatever. And, there was a lot of times, and I would say like 95% of the time, nobody was there at my games. And so I kind of just like lost a love for playing sports. I played soccer, basketball, I did swim team. I lost that. No one's there for you. I don't want to get emotional, but separation and being a part of like single parents, my mom was working, my dad, didn't really have a car, my dad, wasn't stable, and that it's the product of that. So I think just the financial part of it was so hard for us, and it sucks because like being a kid, you shouldn't have to realize and like worry about that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty personal, to be honest.
No, absolutely. We went there, and like, so. Also just hats off to you, because it's like, it's just such a in one hand, like, disservice that you did have to step up and like raise your younger sister. And I don't even know if it's just one sister or if you have more than one younger sibling.
Just one. I have an older brother. Like I said, he's 4 years older, but he was like, really involved with his friends. He like really didn't want to be home, so he did get involved in sports and kind of just gravitated towards being gone a lot. But yeah, I wouldn't say like I completely raised her. Like, our parents were there, even though we had like one. Yeah, but like laundry, cooking, like if you can consider that kind of stuff,
Like, you come in the house, your older, your younger sibling is like kind of kicking it, and you're like, yo, did you do your homework? You have all these people in the house. Like,
yeah, I did Taryn's homework for her. I made sure she passed classes. I made sure stuff was signed, and, without like shitting on my parents a little bit, there were times where it was like, we had to figure shit out.
Yeah, that's the lifestyle, you know what I mean? But even with that being said, that brings me to definitely wanting to know a little bit more. Definitely, like, Tesla, you definitely have to go next, because my biggest thing is like, even playing sports and stuff, I literally, now that I think about it, I don't really remember, who was at the game for you. I don't know if there was, but I noticed that you managed to have some pretty decent kicks. So I don't know what, I'm saying? I don't know what was going on with you. I never knew. You know what I mean? And then you just played your game. You was quiet as hell. So nobody really knew what was going on with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't. I mean, I wasn't like an outcast. I still had friends. But I would just keep my circle small. Like, my best friend was Amanda. I didn't really meet Shelby till like later on in high school, like sophomore, junior maybe. But yeah, I mean, my parents, they have a little love story of their own, but I've always had a pretty secure home base, so there really wasn't any like crazy shit to talk about.
So give people your nationality. Like, we want to know, you know what I'm saying? Like,
who are you? What do you do?
How tall are you? Run it down.
I'm a shoddy. No, so she wants to know how tall I am. 5'3" when I wake up.
Don't say it.
Yeah, 5'3" before gravity.
She lying.
Before gravity just works against me. But no, I'm a Mexican. My dad's full. He speaks Spanish. My grandparents from his side are like from Mexico, and then their parents, like my grandparents, moved to New Mexico, and then my mom's side, they're all from Southern California, San Bernardino, Riverside, Fulton, all down there. So, I mean, they're Mexican, and like I would always spend my summers down south with my mom's family. So, I kind of got a little bit of culture from down south, and then the culture from up north with just my parents. And then I have an older brother who's like 3 years older than me, and then I also have a younger brother who's 8 years younger than me. And
Oh wow.
it's
That's
yeah,
her
it's
baby.
definitely that is my baby. It's funny because I was already like, oh, I know who I am. I'm grown, like 8, 9 years old, taking care of my little brother. But it's pretty much tight knit little family though. But I mean, that's not to say there hasn't been like ups and downs and bad shit, good shit. But yeah, so what I do is I work at an organic store, and I'm the manager of the deli. I make food, organic dank food for everybody,
Ooh.
and I love it. I've always kind of worked in a kitchen. I mean, I've worked in little odd jobs here and there, but I've always worked in a kitchen, and I love it. It's kind of like controlled chaos for me, and being able to be in control of it is fun for me, and just to compartmentalize everything is fun for me, and be all crazy about everything. I don't know, I love it. But listening to you guys and hearing just what you had to say about like the response to what is my identity, it's such a weird question because it's like, okay, well, what's like permanent, and then what's like my temporary identity? Because I feel like I'm a different person every day. Like I'm into something different all the time. Like
now that I know that, right, I have a question, and it really matters because I'm like, so who do you feel like you took after? You know what I'm saying? Would like what like give me just a little bit, just a quick brief, you know what I'm saying? Ordinary day in the life for you. Like you was your dad, you know what I'm saying? Was he working? What was your mom? What was going on?
my mom, she worked here and there. Like she worked at Ace Hardware. She was like the secretary for my dad at his job, which my dad's been at the same job since I was born. He does like telecommunications, so like underground telephone, cable, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So he's always had a pretty solid job. I mean, we weren't rich or anything, but we never struggled. Like there were times where you're like, "Fuck, like we're gonna make it through the
So
week
how
or
like
whatever."
how
Like, or
intertwined, not to interrupt, but like how intertwined was your dad in like the Spanish culture? You feel me?
that's hard to say because I see it more. It's easier to see it, I should say, when we're around like family and around the culture instead of being up here where it's like, oh, okay, like who are you gonna speak Spanish to? You know, or like who are you gonna cook? You know, who are you gonna cook tamales for? But there's this big family. You guys may know them. They own a market and they live right across the street from. I don't feel comfortable naming names, but they live across the street from my parents. And they did go to. They had girls that went to high school with the same age and stuff. But they were like always there. My dad would speak Spanish, and this isn't brief whatsoever, like you asked. Yeah, I mean, I was exposed to it, but definitely like I was born in Barstow, California, and then so
Did you
that's
have a
like
quinceañera?
desert.
Did I say that
No, no,
right?
no, 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 no. I'm not like
Quinceañera.
no, 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 no.
You did?
No, I know.
Did you
So
want
okay,
to,
so
or
that's
just
what I was trying to
like?
I
basically.
didn't want one. No.
I wanted to get on a spectrum of like how, not saying like that, but like how Spanish was your family. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
wondering.
Yeah. I
because
understand.
because
I
what
would
I'm getting
say
at is like, you know what I'm saying, when people really would see you, right? It's like I feel like,
yeah.
you know what I mean, they would, you know, in a sense, it's like you would think, okay, you didn't have a Kinsey. Like, were you dolly? Were you dolled up? Were you like your dad's princess? You know what I'm saying? A lot of Spanish, you know, upbringings, a lot of times, you know what I mean? That dad's fault, you know, that daughter is like, that's my princess, you know what I'm saying? And like, they have kind of an expectation of what, you know, they feel like you should be like and stuff. Like, and I'm just asking, like, it was, how does that?
like, do I feel as if my father judged me because
No, whoa,
Because I
whoa,
Well,
wasn't
here-
innocent?
whoa.
Can
Like,
can
were you a
Tesla-
daddy's girl?
I'm
like,
not. But no,
No.
he always let me do whatever I felt like I wanted to do if I wanted to.
Tesla, can I speak for you for a second,
Oh,
like on
yeah.
your behalf? So
Yeah.
I think that part of like what Tia's trying to get at is like what your family dynamics were like, and like how much of that was like with the Mexican culture, or how much of that was like with like white culture. And so Tesla's dad was basically gone a lot. Like he traveled for work, so he'd be
Yeah.
traveling like all through like California. I don't know, like maybe other states too. And so primarily it would be her mom who is like at home. And I assume you guys don't know her mom, but her mom is
So,
a
you and your mom are
freaking
closer?
angel.
So I'm guessing Tesla, you and your mom are closer than you and your dad, like in simpler terms.
Oh yeah, easy, but yeah,
Okay.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
That makes some sense. I'm painting picture to home, like, because I thought about it. I was like, I've never been to your house. I never. And I was like, yo, we hoop together. You know what I mean? Normal basketball tournaments, she'd show up, and like I can't, and then I couldn't paint a picture. It's like if I remember your mom or your father being there. You know what I mean? I was trying to kind of remember. You know what I mean? In a sense like that. You know.
Yeah, like Shelby said, my father was away for most of the week. He'd be home maybe Saturday, Sunday. But so it kind of was a single family home, but you know, it's like, what are you gonna do? Provide or be home? So they were there at the games. I'm sure they weren't at everyone, but I was also pretty close to Amanda. So when her parents were there, I felt like, oh,
Right. They were loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
see, you and I didn't really know each other in high school, but that's one thing I knew you by is like you and Amanda were like tight. I think that was like, I guess, one of your identifiers in high school, you know, kind of who you were like around and things like that.
I would say Sasha.
True, but that also like kind of backfired in some ways too, because that's my girl. I'm always gonna stand by her, but people always thought we were together, and it could not.
100%. Let's get into it. Right?
I remember arguing with people.
Thank you. So back to wrap this into one of the first comments, like I said, locker room talk and certain things that, you know, I do remember with Tesla and stuff. Like I remember her stating her preference and just knowing that like, oh, shorty, you're like me. Like we're low key out of our area as far as the pick of the litter. We live in this town with predominantly white men. And like, it was like, you know, you got to be this small, petite, blonde hair, blue eye. And I knew, you know what I mean? That I wasn't really looking for a mate in high school, you know what I'm saying? But I knew I was going to find. You know, but if somebody can't, oh Lord, yeah, I got a whole family now. But you know the shit, like so a lot of times people misled the situation and maybe thought the same thing that like if I had a best friend, they thought I was with her as well, just because we were hooper females. You know what I mean? We were naturally calmer, cooler, chiller, didn't say too much.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. For sure.
I mean, at the same time, as much as it pissed me off, I could care less.
Right.
Yeah.
I never thought that, you know, because there was tons of people where they just had like their best friend, and you know, I just thought you guys were best friends. I never thought you guys were together. Honestly,
I remember
that wasn't even my mindset in high school. Really, like there were people like that for sure, but I never like, I can just like throw up thinking about the boys.
I remember Tesla getting attention, but it was definitely, like I said, and like she had told me, it was what it was, like darker skin, chocolate type of people. And I remember like, no, I swear to God, like I remember
really back then.
We're like, where's her boo at? Bring him out.
Knew what
Do
she
a little
wanted.
turnaround.
Right, but and so it already led me like I totally see when she like I was like I see eye to eye exactly, you know what I mean? I see past what people are thinking. I even got to the point where I was like, yo, they are not together. They're fucking teammates on a basketball team that have a really good bond. Her family is litty, you know what I'm saying? And like have really they both been, you know what I mean? So I get it, girl.
Yeah, and I gotta say too, I think that like one of the things that fed into that is that Tesla, like, you know, so she grew up with her older brother and a younger brother, so she's the middle. So like everything that's going on is like she's with her brother, you know, she's doing whatever her brother's doing, all the boy stuff, you know. So and then like her mom too, I wouldn't. Her mom like likes to be pretty, you know, like she likes to have her hair done, she likes to like have her makeup done and things like that, but like her clothing, she tends to like dress like comfortable, you know, and like casual. So like she's got her hair blown out, but she'll be in like shorts and a regular t-shirt like Tesla's wearing right now, you know?
So underrated.
And so I think like Tesla got yeah, right.
Sweatshirt.
I know. Me, I was in a regular shirt, and I was like, I'm gonna go put a cuter shirt on. Janelle was here. But like, I think Tesla like got a little extra, like, you know, question over her sexuality or whatever, because I think that like we have those like gender role stereotypes where it's like, oh, if you're a girl, like you should be wearing a skirt and you should be wearing a floral shirt and like
we'll get into that stuff. Yes, we definitely gonna get into that, you know what I mean, on one of these episodes, you know. And but real quick, also, what is your sign? What is your sign, Tesla?
I'm a Virgo, but on the very cusp of a Leo.
A little raw. Okay.
I just had my birthday.
I just gotta throw out like a little thing about her birthday. So when I found out I was pregnant, when I found out I was pregnant with my son, and I did the math, and I was like, ooh, my son is going to be born around the same time as Tesla's birthday. So I would go to bed every single night during my pregnancy when I like did the math. As soon as I knew, I'd go to bed every night. I was like, please come on this day, which would be Tesla's birthday. And I'm not going to shout out her birthday, but I'd be like, please come on her birthday. And I went into labor on her birthday. And I had my son the next day at 5:55 in the morning. But I went into labor and I was like, heck yeah, little man. Like, you tried. We're close. Now you guys get your same days. But it's like Tesla is somebody who, like, when we're together, our energy is just like magnified by 100. And it's so funny because one of like both of our first jobs was at KFC, and like somebody else got me the job, then I got Tesla the job. And I remember
that shit
like
was so fun.
We like, okay, at first, like our boss, who was amazing, I like have nothing to say about nothing bad to say about our boss at KFC. And like you know, he knew that Tesla and I were best friends, so he was like weary of scheduling us together. Like he would purposefully put us on different shifts.
Oh,
He was
hell
worried,
no, I
you
hate
know?
that.
Well, then there was this one
What a
night
hater.
where
Like,
I know.
It was like, yeah,
y'all wasn't taking baths in the back, were you?
No, we were
In the
both
front.
we were both front of house. Like we got those smiles, you know.
That's a viral
and-
video, by the way.
So like one night somebody calls out sick, and so like one of us had to come in and like pick up that shift or whatever. So we're working the front counter together, and I guess that night like a bunch of customers went up to our manager and were like, those two girls are so nice. They're so like they have such good service. And from then on, he would purposefully schedule us together because of like how well we appealed to people as a little duo. And it was just like nothing but fun after that.
That's awesome.
Tia, it's your turn.
Yeah, can we please get into it, Tia?
Yeah.
I want to know.
I want Tia to talk.
I want to hear from you. Give us a little background. Tell us
All
about
right.
you, please.
I'm going to give it brief, and then I'm going to let y'all ask y'all little questions.
Absolutely.
All
She's like, yeah.
To be honest, all right, y'all, like I said, you know, I am a Libra. Okay. If anybody does really want to, you know, run it down, it's like my moon. No, my rising is Capricorn. My moon is Taurus. Okay. Anyway, I was really born into a family of like, I was the youngest of 6 people, you feel me? And I was a rainbow baby. So, you know what I mean? My mom had miscarriage before, and she had boys back to back to back, 4 of them, and she really wanted a girl. And here I was, boom, pop out. You know, and it's like, I came home to a pretty loving family, I could say, for most. You know what I'm saying? My dad was there, my mom was there, my older brother, my sister. It was a small little trailer, you feel me? And it was on a dirt road, and it was real. And I feel like naturally, the little diva in me, you know, was dying. Like, it was all this dirt around me and stuff on this dirt road and stuff, and these hand-me-downs from this, like, you know, this situation. But everything was all right. You know what I'm saying? My sister got pregnant, and then my mom kicked her out when she was like 16, and I was probably like 5. And then after that, I want to say my parents split, and then it was just my mom and my dad went out of town to the Bay Area-ish, and it was like pretty chill. And then I went, and like I said, I played basketball. It was really tough. I had brothers, you know what I'm saying? I would compete with them. My mom wasn't there. She was working, doing her thing. My dad was doing whoever knows what for a while. And, but something about me, I always kept that little daddy's girl feeling in my heart, you know what I'm saying? So I would always reach out and whatnot and stuff like that. I was the only kid who really reached out to him stuff, you know what I mean? It's kind of like I had to fight my brothers over time to like, hey, that's your father. Like, I don't care what the circumstances. And it was, it was a lot going on and certain things, but my mom held it down for what she could, to be honest, you know what I mean? And I remember growing up and just being super tough and always trying to compete because that was the kind of attention that really applauded, that gave the best, energy. I didn't get that good attention that my sister portrayed attention. I remember my mom slapping the dog piss out of her and making her move into her own apartment at like 16. So I knew that like being fast in the ass was not it. You know what I'm saying? So being athletic, that's where I got my praise. So I made sure that I knew this is where I'm gonna get my acknowledgement from in a great way. I made sure I competed hard. Whatever the boys could do, I could do. And that was the kind of, atmosphere I grew up in and stuff. And my mom was really dope. She kept us in the church. Halloweens, we was at the church house. We did not do scary things. No, could I dress up as a dead thing? You know what I'm saying? So that's what that was. And I think honestly, just throwing that out there, I'm actually writing a book right now, you know what I mean, about, masculine and feminine energy. So everybody that knows me knows that I've been very sporty, pretty competitive, and very casual as far as I like my Nikes, I like my t-shirts, and that's what I like. And if you want to see me catched up and dressed up, I definitely can compete with the best because at prom, you know what I'm saying, I was stepped out, I stepped out and
Okay.
made sure, don't get it twisted, like I will really do it, but I don't want to have to do it because to me it takes a lot of energy and it just seeks the wrong attention to me. I'm very an adept person, you know what I'm saying? I'm into a lot of different things, spirituality. I'm very open with a lot of different ways. I was a little bit more closed minded growing up. I think a lot of people could say they were intimidated by me, and I don't know why. But then, I think about it now. Like I said, I'm writing a book on energies and being an alpha and understanding how to navigate that energy. You know what I'm saying? Whether I want to go 100% feminine or 100% masculine, it's intense. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to get to that level. In high school, I definitely understood that people seen me as more of like a rebel situation. I was very outspoken in class. You understand? I wasn't afraid to tell a teacher, like, hey, don't come here with that attitude. You
Mhm.
get paid to do what you do. You chose this profession. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come in here like that. Respect us. Really. I was just demanding respect. So what Janelle was saying, you feel me? I'm also a person that just demands respect in certain things. So a lot of times I feel like that's where I understood her, in her ways as well. You know what I mean? Just being the youngest, but I was youngest with men, you know what I mean? So still that feminine energy was still inside of me that let me know y'all boys is tripping. You feel me? Mama said do this and this what the hell need to be done, take the chicken out. So I was a little overseer at times, a little diva, you know what I'm saying? That so to,
Uh,
to round it out, that's what the book is about.
yes.
I have actually a book coming out. It's called Tomboy Diva, and I really can't wait till I cap it up. You know what I mean? I'm thinking honestly, I ain't gonna put no time limit on it because I've learned that sometimes, you know what I mean, when you're working with art and kind of creativity, that if you give yourself a certain kind of deadline, sometimes you can rush creativity at its finest. So I'm revising, revamping, and but sure enough, it's gonna come out, and I'm definitely gonna explain, how I navigated my masculine and feminine energies. Because sometimes I notice that people be like, "Damn, she's tough," and then some people like, "Damn, she's the hella diva." Like Tia, take it down. And so you will notice that I'm definitely very live. You know what I'm saying? And as far as high school goes and college, I studied sociology. I got my associates in that, right? Right there. I work security right now at the downtown of Portland. That's what I do. So um, I guess I could say I'm a secure person. I guess I care about security as well as so it's like certain things matter, you know what I'm saying? Formality, respect is big for me. Like respect. You can have your own opinion and, do whatever, but just respect, you know what I'm saying? And I'm very fluent with it because I like the curiosity, real questions, and I can see when it comes from a place of generosity and concern and honestly wanting to learn rather than when it comes on a person with discernment or disrespect. And I'm very good at reading. So that's kind of how I do is I feel people out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether I'm laughing, I will say some funny shit sometimes with a smile on my face, but I'll be dead ass serious. But I do that because people need a cushion too. You know what I'm saying?
It's
We gonna talk
true.
about a lot of things though. You feel me? And like I said, Janelle, Shelbs, Tess, if you guys have any questions, I'm ready.
I want to know. See, this is what I was thinking. So, relating you to me, I think I didn't know who I was at a young age. I really didn't have that confidence. I've always been pretty outspoken, but for you, I want to know because I saw you as someone who was always really confident, did take her energy in the room, was an alpha person. Being the youngest of your family, I find that interesting that you have that energy, and I just want to know, where do you think that came from?
I think, okay, and that makes a lot of sense because sitting down and getting into my book, I was able to kind of navigate through my feelings and kind of understand, damn, where do I get this? There's just something, and it's there. Sometimes it's there. So I would want to say probably because I look at my mom as the first woman that kind of does what I do. She moves how I move. You know what I mean? In other words, excuse me, I move how she moves and I kind of do what she does. But I noticed that I would say it's my mom and watching her be a single woman and being able to lead these four boys. And then there's me. So I felt like, with my dad not there and certain things for the time being and certain shit, watching my mom still run it down, still have that energy, still demand attention from my brothers, still go head to head with my brothers and demand her respect. And they was all big, young black men going through their identity things and not having their father there. So it was a lot of struggle I watched. And the same thing, she kept her faith in God and she was strong and headstrong. And she would walk across, the town. And if we didn't have a car, she would do the damn thing.
Yeah.
And that energy is definitely something I picked up from Tina. And um, I got this
I
shit
love
from
that.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I don't
Every
know.
interaction I ever had with your mom was positive. Tia, why is your ass out? First of all.
I love it. Okay, so that right there, that comment, y'all, for those who are not on Facebook, if you go check it out, you know what I'm saying? I was on the beach popping and locking. And my mom was like, damn. And I was like, yo, chill, Tina, mind your business. But that's just who she is. Very modest. And like I said, that's going to be in my book as well. Me being able to express the femininity side when I give it that whole feminine side. They're like, holy shit, it is a lot because we're not used to it. And so I like to swing the energies both ways and watch motherfuckers shake.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, that's
love
so
just
funny, yeah.
being somebody who doesn't necessarily fit in those gender roles. Someone who is their own person, someone who does take up space and has that energy about them. I really admire that about you. I think that's awesome. That's an amazing quality to teach, to your son, to teach, to your friends, everything. Because I feel like everybody's voice, in a sense, is important. We all, should and share our stories, really. And
Like that's real life, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
excuse me as a mother and those of the community that are watching, like I am a mother, excuse me, I'm a boy mom. That's my little guy. He's almost 4. He's also a Libra just like his mom. So we are like this a lot. This toddler stages, I'm like, this is a lot. But I wouldn't you trade it for the world, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, and I think that pregnancy also brought me, excuse me, to a whole with femininity and understanding that you have to sometimes give and submit to the natural nature of give cause, and I think it was surprising for me. It was so humbling, so breaking, you know what I mean? A person that didn't like to cry, a person that was like, nah, you ain't gonna see me like this, nah, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. I kept that demeanor of like, everything's calm, let's keep it cool, you know what I'm saying? Motherhood is when, okay, see, damn, my heart is out my body now, so it's over there. So with now him being alive and moving and navigating as his own little person with his own little identity and opinions, oh, does it stress you out? It stresses you out. So it's like that's been a humbling part of me as well. It took down that ego a little bit and then brought a little bit more of humble and understanding, you know what I mean? Which has opened a platform for me with a podcast now that I'm like, damn, I can't be so stern in this opinion because my son is a free spirit. I don't know what, you know what I mean? So that is another thing that has brought me around to being able to speak with people and wait a minute, I'm gonna sit down and really learn something. I'll really read. You know what I'm saying? Like reading is huge to me right now. Like the book that I'm reading right now is Powernomics. I really hope some of you guys will love to read it. It has everything about what's going on today, as well as the breakdown of race, anything you got, economy. This is real, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit about me.
Yeah,
I love it.
I just want to say too, one of the things that I can like really relate with is that I also like having my son affected me in a similar way, in which it allowed me to become more emotional, because I've always been somebody who, like, I am so cognizant of how emotional I am that I have actively throughout my life like dissociated from it, so that I would like not show that, and like I would be somebody that you would not see cry, and my emotions would be so turned off that like I wouldn't, when I was young, like in high school, I didn't give a fuck what like I was saying or what I was doing or like whatever, you know, like
Yeah.
towards other people. It was all like I mean, like, to a certain extent, I've always been like a relatively nice person. I've always been a relatively friendly person, but
Yeah.
my thought process was much more like self-centered, and honestly, the motherhood aspect didn't necessarily change that. It only magnified how willing I was to be vulnerable, is I guess the way that it
Vulnerability.
the
Yeah, no,
vulnerability, yeah.
it's huge, you know what I'm saying? I mean, being the youngest, I've been able to watch people have their faults. Like 6 individuals do certain things that I go, "Okay, mom didn't like that. I'm not doing that." You know what I'm saying? Like, "Oh shit, I can't. That's not accepted in the community. I'm not doing that." So it's like I watched and I sat back in it, and like a lot of times it made me a chill, easygoing, individual. But it allowed me to develop this floater type of spirit, and with that, got me so many different type of friend groups in certain things that when you look at me and certain things, some way I portray my way might be sporty one day, might be girly one day, might be more churchy the next day, or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? People look at me and they go, damn, sometimes they see my friend base and they go, well, I would have never thought that there was going to be that many friends, behind Tia, you know what I mean? And certain things like that. But I think that comes with being the youngest, you feel me? So I enjoy it.
I mean, to
Yeah.
think that you had that self awareness at such a young age is really amazing to me, because I definitely did not have that. I think self awareness is something that, people come into at different times in their life, and maturity and, just growing and everything like that. But that's really awesome that you had that. I mean, that'll happen, I guess, when you have 6 older siblings. It's crazy.
It always works for me. Shit, I'm like,
Yeah.
And I gotta say too that so my best friend growing up in high school, she lived in the same complex as Tia, which I'm assuming must be the same complex as Janelle, but I didn't know Janelle at the time. So, but I did know,
would shout
you
it
know,
out.
yeah, exactly.
what's your friend's name?
Kayla and Janae, the Mien sisters.
Oh,
Janae and Javon dated at one point in time.
Janelle knows we had some good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, so Kayla was my best friend.
We
We're
know
in the same
them.
grade, and her sister Janae, I'm actually like, I was always like really close with as well when we were young. And I mean, like now, I talk
Damn,
to
she just
Kayla more often,
threw
but
it back, literally.
yeah, right,
Yeah,
back
she
to
does.
those brick
You ever
days.
just like unlock a memory? You're like,
Oh,
fuck, I forgot
so-
I had that.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Yeah.
So I remember, like seeing like you guys, you and your brothers, though I only knew, Javon and Julian. So I didn't even know that you had like older siblings other than those two, right? And
Yeah.
but like my point is just that like kudos to your freaking mom, because
Literally.
every one of you that I've personally met like are all just like so like respectful and kind and compassionate and thoughtful, and like regardless,
and hilarious, phenomenal
yeah,
human beings. Yes.
100%,
Tina
like
did that.
phenomenal human beings. And the fact that like somebody as a single parent can manage to like have just like such like beautiful freaking children, like that's like a role model.
No, yeah, she's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Tina, she does her thing.
It's so funny. My mom's name's Tina too.
Is it? I never knew that. That's really
Yeah.
cool. You feel me? Tina babies. No, she's pretty wonderful, but no, it definitely wasn't always fine and dandy. You know what I mean? I definitely think that with like, see, like, cause me and Joel and Javon, you know what I mean? We have like the same mom and dad, and the older three, you know what I mean? It's split up a little bit. So it was a little bit of rivalry with the first three and the younger three, and how they felt that we maybe had more, like freedom or luxury of shoes or whatever it maybe was. You know what I mean? So a lot of times they'd be like, "Oh, the Cunninghams," and like,
Oh no.
we, oh, so was a sibling rivalry? Yeah, but well, we make a good picture look wonderful. Yes, and it was a journey though. It's cool having big brothers and shit like that. And then my older sister, she was definitely an alpha type, dominant, take care of business. She was a bitch. She was cool. And she's like 16 years older than me, so it's solid, you know what I mean? It was like a
Mhm.
mom number two. It was
Yeah.
never a problem for much, you know what I'm saying? I think that the coolest thing about it too is looking at this, like I think we played AAU. I remember getting sponsored. The only thing that I could say is having, my mom so spread apart is that it was certain times with certain sports that seemed kind of crazy. Like my brother cheerleader, that's way more expensive than the average basketball AAU and shit like that. So it'd be competition of the finest, like who could get mom's attention the most to make her pay
Mm.
for the season. And a lot of times, just because I was the girl and she wanted me to do certain shit that fell into the girl category, she definitely paid for joining Javon to do certain shit football. But see, I didn't understand the cheerleading shit because I was like, all right, like I play basketball, he plays cheerleading, but so I noticed that a lot of times I got sponsorships. So Shelby, when we played AAU and shit like that, were you sponsored too, or did your parents pay?
Yeah,
You
no,
were,
no. Yeah, I would get sponsorships. My parents would pay for, as much as they could, but I grew up where like my mom didn't really work. She's got a lot of kind of like not undiagnosed. Well, she went undiagnosed for a while. My mom's got a lot of medical issues that aren't really like being solved by the medical system, and that's like something that we can go into for sure like at some point in time. But
I mean, Tesla fills that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, our pre-show talks. So yeah, and it's so funny actually. I just want to like say real quick too about like the cheerleading thing. It's so funny because I think like I don't know if you relate to this or not, Tia, but like for me, I was always like so annoyed by cheerleaders in general because on like a basketball court, particularly like in a high school setting, like there's not a lot of space. So whenever there's like cheerleaders on the sideline, like for me, I'm like, they're in the way, they're gonna get run over, like this is a problem, somebody's gonna get hurt. And like it would always be like a frustrating like there's not enough space for basketball and cheerleaders.
No, I feel it. I didn't mind it too much. I just think that like I don't know. I'm just glad they kind of didn't cheer for us because it always allowed us more to
Right.
be a little bit more wild. It wasn't really about gender things like, oh, I didn't want girls cheering for me. It was just the fact of like, yeah, bitch, stay off the
Yeah.
sideline.
Exactly right. Like, yeah. Like we didn't have to necessarily deal with it because they weren't doing it for us, but it was just like, damn, I'd be so annoyed if they were there because
That's
I'd be all over the place.
that's something I feel 100%. But I do have a question. I'm just gonna ask Tessa the question because she knows I come for her. Naturally. I like to make her talk. I like to hear her opinion. So, what was your first opinion? You feel me of me? How did you feel? My energy on the court, me as a person, and be honest, 100%. You know, what I mean, we are grown now.
First
Like,
impressions, hold on, let me think back like 12, 14 years.
baby,
Access.
you got it. To your prime, baby. You prime.
Um, shoot. I think what's most prominent about you is that you said people think like people are intimidated by you. I don't think I was ever intimidated by you. I understood the fact that okay, this chick knows who she is. She knows what the fuck she wants. She knows what the fuck she's doing. Like you're either gonna roll with her, or you're just gonna stay out of her way. So that was kind of my first impression. Was just like, oh, okay, like this girl's about it. But you were always just never any problems. I thought you were real cool. And there was some time, like, I think once we were out of school, there was deeper talks that we had had. Like,
100.
when I was, like, hanging out with Brandon and I had moved out,
Facts.
there was some, like, I remember one day I randomly ended up at your house. Like, I don't even remember if
Right.
you texted
Hey,
me.
I had a lot of people at my
And
house.
we just,
I really did.
yeah, I just remember we talked forever and ever and ever. That's all my memories really with you is that
You know what?
we
It's
just
kind of
would
cool,
talk
but
for
kind of
days and days.
discouraging is that my mom. So that's another thing. Like I said, my mom wasn't home. Just to recap, I had like a stoner stage, you feel me? And like it was what it was.
Stage.
Uh, as it is who it
It's
Keep
a
it
big
real.
so
stage,
Keep
okay?
it
We're
real.
still
hold on
on
one
the stage.
Right. It's giving
second.
never stopped.
Okay, so listen. No, but listen, and the meanings like was where it was a social thing for me. Like I knew, you know what I mean? Like people knew that, you know what I'm saying, Friday night, what before the game or whatever it was, you know what I'm saying, you can come to my house, like, well, I shouldn't incriminate my house. But you should come kick it with me and that we could go, you know what I'm saying, and smoke and chill and shit like that. I had a lot of heart to hearts. Um, you know, at different times with different people that I never thought I would, you know, have. And it was crazy because I remember a lot of people judging, you know, kind of feeling like she's an outcast, like, damn, she's a bad attitude. She's this, she's that. Cause I got in trouble, you know what I mean, in high school a few different times. I will say that, you know what I mean? I do remember going to a continuation school and you know, being able to come back. But like just even to wrap that story up, because not very many people even know that story. And I think it's so important for people to know why that I didn't, you know, I ended up Shasta College playing basketball as dope as I am and all this other shit. No, I got scholarships literally ripped from me. Officer Giski, I went on lunch, you know, with a few friends and stuff like that. Well, so-called friends. You gotta watch who you think is your friend. Um, and like I said, at the time, you know, I wasn't smoking. I didn't smoke during season. As you know, in high school ball, they drug test you pretty frequently. So I definitely remember asking, you know, asking an older friend at that time to take me off of campus to go and, you know, take me to Safeway to get some food. She said yes. But beforehand, they were going to go to a park to smoke, that big park that everybody goes to, you know, KK. So we get there and we're sitting there in the car and they're smoking cigarettes, mind you. I've never been an advocate for tobacco, like in that kind of sense, you know what I mean? I really don't like cigarettes and stuff. So I was like really kind of irritated that we had even stopped. Then I'm like kind of paranoid naturally. Like I told you, I have this sense, this radar inside of me that I feel when shit's wrong at parties, at certain situations. Like when I say it's time to go, my friends can trust. When I say that, it's like, let's move. And everything has usually happened worse, you know, after
I
we
feel
leave.
that so hard.
You feel me? Like that's a huge
Yes.
radar to have. I hope that everybody here has it. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to go, it's time to go. But I tried to say let's go and abort mission. I felt that feeling. I couldn't really do it because there a cop car was pulling up behind us. So I'm in the back seat like, oh shit, I am the black person in this car. Not that it matters, but then it comes to you. You feel me? Like, cause I never
It
thought like that.
matters.
And it mattered. And sure enough, it's Officer Giske. And she, first thing she says is Cunningham. She doesn't recognize anybody's last name. She says Cunningham. What are you doing? You're an athlete. What are you doing off of it? You're young and da da da. I'm like, I just came to get food. I'm literally in somebody's car. I'm just sitting in the middle seat. I have no control. Just waiting for these people to put these damn cigarettes out as I'm getting nauseous. Just sitting there. Well, she pulls out the car. The moral of the story, there was a damn pound or two in the trunk as the grower was my neighbor. I know this for a fact. And we, you know what I'm saying, at the time, my mom had married this guy in a nice neighborhood, you feel me? And we had ended up in this very prestigious neighborhood we never had no business being in. You know what I mean? In my high school years. So it came from being at low income apartments to being in a fat ass house, big neighbors. And I knew this neighbor. That's why I asked her to take me. And I forgot that her parents grew weed in the backyard and that they would have possibly pounds of weed in their car that she drives to school occasionally that they do sell because that's what they do. You feel me? So she tried to lie to tell Officer Giske that it was my weed.
You're
A little,
lying.
no, guys, this is
Oh
real.
my
This
god.
everyone was oh Tia got kicked. Remember that was a big thing. Tia got kicked out of Enterprise. Oh baby, I remember. Oh no, it wasn't
That
just
was
like
why?
that. Listen, oh yes, like
Yeah, I never
Wow.
knew either.
oh, people thought I was a
What
bad.
year was that, Tia? You don't
Huh?
mind. What year was that?
That was year 2011. I graduated 2013. That's why it took me a whole year to come back. But see, my mom had to get entwined with the NCAA to get me back in Enterprise. We was going to sue. You understand what I'm saying? Like it got big. You feel me? I hate to even drop the names, but it's real and it's been years. I really don't care. They let me graduate. I have my high school diploma from the right place. You feel me? But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you know what I'm saying? It was so real. You feel me? That it really sucked to me that I went back in the. She put me in her car in handcuffs. This is my first time in car, and it's my season. I have a game 2 days later. I am fucking shitting bricks in the back seat. My mom, Tina, she got notified obviously pretty quick. By the time I got back to the school, people, it was lunchtime. They see me in the back of this car in handcuffs and going into the office. It was humiliating. I was obviously everybody knows who I am, you feel me? And they're like, oh shit, there's a game in 2 days. Like, what's going on? Well, my mom, by the time she got there, she has to act fake pissed off. And like, I hated the fact that my mom was always like, been that type of person. She's non confrontational. So she wanted to let them know that I was in trouble and to let me go, basically. So she acted like an ass in the office. But by the time we got to the car, Tina was like, yo, what just happened? And I told her the girl lied on me. And then she definitely had my back after that. You bet your ass we had every
What a good
church,
mom. Yeah.
black organization in Reading coming in to try to get me out of Oasis prison high school. And so that's basically how I ended up back in high school, being able to walk the stage. But I definitely lost all my scholarships. So I ended up back in Shasta College playing ball. And it was very humbling, you know what I'm saying? It was definitely something I took to heart, but at the end of the day, I definitely let go. You know what I mean? Let go and let God. And I've definitely led me to my son and led me to life. And I moved around. I moved out of Reading. I went down to, a lot of different places, and I've been around. Now I'm up and around. So
Yeah. One
a
thing I
pleasure.
was going to say is like, as far as like when you were asking Tesla what her perception of you was, is you being so involved in basketball, being so competitive, really a team player, but so like motivated to win. I always remember that.
Yeah.
So with your love being basketball, like why would you put yourself in that situation? Like you wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like everybody
Yeah.
should know you wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
It makes me so mad
And
because it's like, why would she lie on you? Is it because it was just like an easy target, or is it because of racial issues, or
And being neighbors, do you understand that the weirdest part about that was
like I know where
being
you live?
okay, so the point in me, the Bulls old me wanted to be at her house. I do remember knocking at her door a few times and just being like, what the fuck? But she was never there. And her parents told me, like, at the time, she kind of was off the hinges and went on this drug spell. So at the end of the day, when I say karma comes around full circle, you understand what I'm saying? It's still in all, life is blessed. I still have my degree. I've still played college ball, not where I wanted to, but, I did that. I still, I have a beautiful, blessed son, you know what I mean? And it's like, I look back and I still have raps on this person just based off of knowing who they are. And life's kind of came full circle. You feel me? The drug atmosphere is still current. And it's a sad story on that end of that person. So, it is what it is, but that's definitely kind of how that happened. People think I probably beat somebody up and got put out of school. And I don't know, people have this image that I was just like, kind of intimidating and crazy. So I had to, throw that out there that that's definitely how your girl lost her scholarships and ended up, playing ball really
Yeah, see, I
currently.
didn't know that. And honestly, like thinking about that, to have Officer Gitsky like parade you in front of the school, as far as maybe like embarrassment. I mean,
I
I
was the
guess.
only one who got expelled in that car. There was other kids in that car. I literally told them, like, you can call your
Oh,
parents. Like, it became like an investigation thing because, like, I was like to the point I just ratted her parents out. Like, I'm sorry, that is not
yeah,
my shit. You know what I'm saying? So I spent 2 months in
yeah.
that continuation school, and it was the worst time ever. You know what I mean? I seen
Had
cops,
no
you
idea.
know, bat like kids down in the face. I've seen kids fight teachers. I mean, I remember sitting in the back of the class, just kind of like, teaching kids how to learn. Like I turned into a teacher, as a teacher turned into a behavioral security guard. It was real, you know what I mean? So it was a fun time. I have a lot of good friends though from being at that school. There's a lot of individuals, a lot of kids that that's what opened my heart to certain things with behavioral, kids with behavioral, and being able to coach and, like, what I mean, have that atmosphere of like, nah, I want to find out the root to that issue. Why you bugging? Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely,
that's
100.
true though. I mean, I feel like there are a lot of root issues that make us act and do and say certain things, and we really don't realize it till we're older or whatever. Maybe sometimes we don't even
So yeah,
get to
and then like
that.
I said,
But
after that, it's led me to a lot of different competitive fairs. And then another humbling moment was an athletic humbling moment. I went and played pro football just 2 years ago. Um, And then everything was going great. You know what I mean? I'm getting like, defensive player, of the season. I'm getting recognized by the WFLA. My purpose was to get to the lingerie football league,
amazing.
you know what I mean? And do my thing because I always felt like you could be sexy and play football. And
Hell yeah.
Okay,
the space,
Let's do
like,
it. Yeah, for
yes.
sure.
yeah, so that was my plan, so I'm up here, I'm playing for the Shockwave and everything was going good. And it was the last game. But, I say, you got to watch the power of the mind and the power of the tongue because the whole season, a little bit into it, I was thinking, damn, I didn't want to play full helmet pats, You know what I'm saying? I was thinking lingerie football. All we had was a helmet on and some sexy little lingerie. You know what I mean? It's kind of skin contact. So I was already in the fear at the back of my head that I could possibly get injured. But something inside me was just so competitive that I was doing so well in the league. I was excited to play. I seen a lot of females. It was good competition. We were traveling. And then the last game, like I said, first quarter, I ended up snapping. What I did was I went to tackle a girl and my teammate came to help tackle. Okay. So they, helped me tackle the girl, but my knee ended up buckling underneath us. I ended up dislocating my knee cap, right? Like it went, and then I tore my tibia. So that bone that connects, the main bone in your leg, I shattered that baby. And,
oh my gosh.
in the moment of hitting the ground on that field, I just remember I screamed every cuss word that I could in the book. And there was kids. My kid was there. He was on the sideline. And I just was like, oh, my baby. I was thinking that, like, damn, be quiet. I was trying to contain myself. But, boy, when I snapped my knee out of socket and that damn bone shattered, I just screamed. And sure enough, it was a humbling moment. They took me off in the middle of the game in a gurney. And I got to that hospital and they popped my leg back in and put me under surgery. And I went through 3 surgeries in less than like 48 hours and have woke up with this metal out of my leg. And here I am, the doctor's telling me never again, never again. Don't even think about playing a sport. And, and just it's a blessing to even, make it out of surgeries this much and be able to not have any blood clots like you do in thugging, So I'm like, God is good. But I healed from that. It was definitely treacherous. You know what I mean? I remember nights waking up just crying, thinking like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like really bugging. But
how long was that process to kind of get back to where you
man, my leg right now is kind of shit. Like I ain't gonna hold you. But I'm going back to sports. As though he said, no contact, you feel me? I won't really go back to football necessarily. I can't promise it, but I feel that, we'll see about it. I'm gonna go back to flag and see what that's about. But I definitely think I'm still gonna pick up a professional basketball league and try to just put my knee brace on and see what it do. A season or two. If I do well, I continue to, propel. If not, I'll sit my little ass down and listen to the doctor.
Do you do any sort of like physical therapy or?
Oh yeah, so I've been, I started going to physical therapy for a minute, but with the job I had, which is kind of funny, we'll go into, what I'm saying, like different topics about universal basic income and certain different things about welfare and different insurance policies and things. Because it was like when I had welfare, I was having insurance, I was having, physical therapy damn near every other day for free. You know what I mean? And it was really working to get me an athletic type of goal, moving type of thing. Then I had a good job at the city, and it's like I switched to Kaiser, and all of a sudden they asking $15 every time I step in the office just to even step in and sign in. I'm like, hold on. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't sound like a lot, but
we could talk about insurance. That's the field I work in. As much as I hate it, we could talk about it.
Kaiser. So that's out. So, that slowed my physical process down, but in my, you know what I mean? Like I have all my stuff, my bike, my elliptical, my weights, and I do my own thing. I definitely will get back to sports soon.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Especially how tied you are to it. Really quick, I want to shout out Quincy, aka Escape. He's been commenting in the chat a lot. He said, I would have whooped everyone's ass in that car. I don't care. That's some old bullshit.
Wait a minute. And nobody spoke up like the way I was expecting. You know what I'm saying? And I was out with some real friends. I really lost some friends for a few months. And I got depressed because, a girl got expelled at school, scholarships in college, was like dropping out, not talking to me no more. I was really feeling some type of way. So what it do? Drag me more into my weed. But, I got a lot of money around that time. It switched my, expertise, and it let me know how to navigate through different lifestyles.
That situation, I don't want to assume, but it's giving,
Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
let's blame.
Sorry to interrupt. Because I know the crowd is wondering, like, how do you know that girl is doing bad, and how do you know she's on drugs? Real quick to wrap it up.
We know.
Like I said, I have a lot of siblings and stuff like that. I ended up at one of my older brother's houses and stuff, and he had some, a big barbecue going on. So some friends popped up, and boom, there she was. And I'm like, I had my son, and I'm like a new person at this time. So my mindset wants to go in attack mode, like, bitch, like I know
this is years later. Let's settle this later.
Let's talk about it. You fake and you lied, but I didn't want to do that, so I didn't do it.
So this is years later. You guys meet up again at a barbecue.
Yes, it was a long time later. It was a long time later. When I tell you, I was so upset, you guys. I flashed for a second and froze. And I was like, oh my God. And I have my son in my hand and I'm looking at my brother like, why is this girl in your house? You know, my whole like, woo, woo, woo. And he didn't know. So I had to explain it to him. And, but seeing her when she was there and the way she was acting and she was, woo. I said, well, God is good and I don't need to yell at you. Your life is really what it is, But it wrapped around, everything is 360, y'all. When I tell you things will come full circle, and she was there in my family's house, like I could have roasted her ass.
Listen, I believe in karma, and sometimes you have to take karma in your own hands. Okay.
Unfortunately, it's like, yeah, you gotta
listen. I'm confrontational. Me. So if I was there and I knew the situation,
y'all thought I should have did something, right?
Oh yeah, we grown now.
Listen, people who thought they knew me from high school would have thought, oh my God, like she should have seen her. She was a deer in headlights. If there was no growth inside of me, she would have got the ass dragged through the floor, back to the back door and the whole nine. But
yeah,
I'm a mother and like, girl, look at you. Get yourself together.
Right. Yeah,
absolutely.
Listen, I had to take a lot of restraint, so I give you props. But man, you know what?
It's been a good night.
Yeah. We are. I feel like we know each other a lot better now. I
Thank
feel
you.
good
Yeah,
about
I
this.
learned some shit tonight.
Yeah, I feel like we're taking this in a good direction. And thank you, Super Great, for the comment, by the way. Everybody that's watching or have been here, followed, everything like that, we really appreciate it. This is our first episode, so we are going with the flow. So yeah, just want to remind everybody we're going to be live every Wednesday. And this is a live podcast, no editing. This is just us. So yeah, thanks for being here and everything. But Shelby, do you have anything else that we want to talk about tonight?
There's one thing that I feel like needs to happen, and I think Tesla needs to tell us like a secret or something, because I feel like I learned a lot about everybody else, but Tesla, and maybe it's just because I know Tesla more.
Chat did want to know. Escape did put, does Tesla own a Tesla? Because that would be legit.
Love it.
Does Tesla want to own a Tesla?
You like Teslas, baby? Me too.
I mean, they're cool, but I feel like the people that drive them are kind of like what the people who used to drive Priuses like.
What are you lying?
Okay, but the sunroof though. The sunroof though. That's nice.
The glass.
It's a moon roof, baby. It's the whole roof. That's a moon roof.
It's the whole thing. It goes all the way back.
I like that.
Third row.
Duana says, "Spill it."
You know what? People always wanting Tesla to tell a secret. Like, on God, you know what I'm saying? When I say locker room talk, that's the shit I used to do. See, that's why I know that people want to know more about you.
I damn near cried tonight. And I didn't expect to get that deep, by the way, y'all. Like, I was not trying to go there. I really don't even think we even got to it.
Right.
We have so much more to
y'all
talk
want to
about.
know it. It's nervous tonight.
What's the question we could ask her?
For me, I don't have it. I can't think of one secret that I have.
Tesla's just exists and she's just chill.
For everybody here, Tesla, I'm gonna need you to tell us your little love story about what's going on, where, you know what I'm saying, how you guys kind of met, and like, what do you feel? What is the sign?
How long have you guys been together? What
was the first date? Oh, boo, what'd you wear? Tell me.
Oh my God, you're making me think back. It's almost 7 years. So we've been together for 7 years. This January will be 7 years.
Wow.
And he has 2 kids of his own. We don't have any kids of our own. But it was real simple how we met. It was kind of because of Shelby why we met.
No. It wasn't even because of me. I was there.
Bruh. So you know.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know if it was like the first time they met or if it was the first time I was there and saw them, but I remember Tesla being like, oh my gosh, I just love him. Like, she was just like so enamored.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this person from where we're from?
Yeah.
Surprise.
Okay, so we can have
He went to the high school across the river. He's our rival school. So River Bowl.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that
this
makes a
could be
big difference.
my family. Oh, yo, this is funny. This is funny.
You might know him, but
This could be my people. It's like from a distance, far distance, like, type of people. But keep going. So y'all met, and what happened?
Yeah, well, the lady that we both knew, he worked next door to. So he would like come over and get trees, smoke, whatever, like.
Get tarot readings. That's when my spirituality was going on. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, and then so it was just super casual. I just saw him, and then one night I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go see him. So I asked for a charger, just to, like, make an excuse to go talk to him.
She knew what she
And then-
wanted.
And then like blah blah blah, we just talk, and then I was like, I'm gonna give him my number, that way we can text. And I had just got a new phone. I gave him the wrong fucking number. I gave him my old number. So
No.
I know I didn't see him for a couple days, and I guess he was texting that number, and that number texted back and was like, the fuck are you texting me for, And so blah blah blah. A couple days later, I ended up seeing him at where we met, and he was like, "What's up? Like, why'd you give me your number if you don't want to talk?" I was like, "My bad." I gave you the wrong
You
number.
awkward.
This girl.
And then
Yeah, right. When we say Tesla
Literally
is not tech
not
savvy.
tech
She does
savvy.
not text
Yeah,
anything.
he was being
She
awkward. He was
wanted
playing
him.
shy
She
girl.
went after him and gave him the wrong number. What are we doing?
I'm
hey, it
cracking
is what it is.
It is what it is.
It was
Hey,
magic
but it was meant to
happening.
be.
Can't help it.
Absolutely.
It was meant to be.
So,
So-
I just want to know, is this person on your social so I can go snooping? Because I don't want to like drop names out there to the public, but like,
Yeah,
damn, I'm
no.
so real.
He's on there. You can. Go
I'll hook
find
you up,
him.
Tia. I'll help
Happy
you. I'll
drop
get
the
you. Yeah.
gems.
He's
Like,
an
I'll
admin.
get him.
Oh, see, I
And
want to see the
then-
reaction of you realizing who it is. Because if you know who it is, that would be juicy.
Dude.
She'd be
You
like,
can drop the name, I'm ready.
"Oh, I know him. I know
Hey,
exactly who this is."
Your little mysterious ass was sitting there, and we didn't know none of this information. I kept trying to tell you, go deeper. What is your life? What is your? And I thought about it like, damn, I know she didn't even say nothing about her little lover.
I'm honestly pretty private. We were kind of talking about that the other night, but
Oh.
nobody knows really where I live. Nobody knows where I live.
I wasn't gonna ask
Pretty-
you, but I really wanted to know. But I'm not gonna ask you in front of everybody. But I want to know.
What was your question again? I'm sorry. You
We'll
wanna-
talk.
Like,
We'll talk
one of these days
specifics
we gonna
after.
send it in a private chat.
Yeah.
Where you live. Send where you live in a private chat. So at least we know where we're all located. Because I'm
Just
curious.
She's hometown.
Oh, say
Yeah,
less.
no, I'm
okay.
just right here,
Okay.
just down the road.
Okay.
Down yonder.
Down
Past the gas
yonder.
You
station.
ain't in the boonies, are you? On the boonies,
That's
the boonies.
She off the grid.
It's so
Oh,
funny.
shit.
Tesla's house is like, like, she tells you like, oh, my house is on like the side of the road, and you're just like, what the fuck does that mean? 'Cause
What's
it's like
the nearest
literally
gas
on the side of the
station?
road. Like,
Is it scary at
I don't know how to
night?
explain it.
It's scary at night where you live.
Sometimes. When
Do
my
you
boyfriend
get
worked night
trick-or-treaters?
shift, yeah. But I just ran out to the mailbox this morning because this tweaker was trying to be in my mailbox. And I was
Yeah,
over
man.
there cracking eggs, seeing this tweaker out the window, and ran out there with the eggshell in my hand and everything. I was like, "Excuse me." I try to be nice because I don't know what they got going on, so I try to be like somewhat nice.
Approaching somebody with your eggshell is nice. No, I'm just kidding.
So Tesla, what do you be cooking? Like, you know what I'm saying? What's the most cultural thing you be cooking in your house?
Cultural? Oh
Yeah.
man, I don't know about cultural. I make
you mean
tacos.
you don't
all the
know?
damn time.
What? You don't be. Oh, come on.
I make tacos probably
Right.
like once, twice a week.
I
But
knew she
like
was
to-
gonna say tacos.
But what
You
kind of
know?
tacos? What is the base? Because that'll tell me a lot.
Oh, Janelle gonna put you on. Let's put you on.
Boyfriend, I'll make lengua because my boyfriend likes lengua.
that?
But
Right? I don't know what that
lengua,
is.
the cow tongue. Lengua is the
I
cow
mean,
Oh
tongue.
like-
shit.
Come on.
Okay. Never mind.
All right.
Yeah, all right, good night, guys.
She
Never
cultured.
mind.
I like to dabble though, especially working at this store. It's got
She
like
went
this
there.
and stuff.
So I'm guessing you like that shit called menudo.
Yeah, with tribe. all day.
All
You won't
right.
eat it? You won't eat it?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's not
No,
for me.
ma'am.
No, that's not for me.
Do
Uh,
you know what? Do you know what tripe is?
Right.
oh, is that the stomach, like the lining, the like
Yeah.
intestines?
It's gonna
That's
make me
good.
lining. See, I can't go lining with lining. I think that's the problem. I would be sick.
They do, and then they have cabeza, which is the brain.
Okay. Okay.
No, it's good. You just try it. Can't beat it, so you try
I'm good.
it.
Yeah,
My
I'm
head's
hungry.
already big. I don't need more.
My head's
I don't
already
need.
big.
I don't need to eat no brain.
And then you
No.
told us your sign and your sign of your partner, correct?
Sean, he is a Capricorn on the last day of Capricorn going into Aquarius.
Oh, you guys are both cusps.
Yeah, they're both cusp, and like the cusp that they are. Well, I mean, I guess technically, anytime you get a cusp, like you're probably going to be like double compatibility, right? But like, you know, they got that like fire and air crossover, and then they're like earth signs, so it's kind of just like perfect. Like they're so freaking precious. Like I love Sean. I think Sean is
Thank
just
you.
like such a good partner to Tesla, and
Aw.
He really
like,
is. If I were to like get on the computer and like beep 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 put it all in and be like, this is your Build-A-Man, that's who
I
it
know
would be,
she
but
said she
better.
got the Build-A-Bear. I'm cracking up, y'all. Weak right
it's
now.
so true. It's
That's
so true.
cute.
Hey,
Wow.
this is wonderful. I'm still like excited to see the anonymous person that we grew up around that I did not know was your partner and your compatibility, which is pretty crazy. Like, because in my mind, you feel me? Like I had said earlier, I said that comment. Like I said, when we had it talking a lot, when you was like, "Oh, I like brown skin," I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy. There's not very many out here." Like in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, you like me? You feel me? We definitely gonna eventually have to seek out to find the person we, you know what I'm saying, probably gonna end up with."
Right.
And it's crazy because the person was in the same radius of the city. You feel me? Like,
Crazier story about our little companionship romance is that my my best friend in 3rd grade, he ended up like getting in trouble and then like moving away and then moving back. And then in middle school he met Sean and they were best friends. So when Sean and I met, we were like, "Oh, you know him, you know him." We're like, "Wait, what?" And we both had the same best friend for like years and didn't know it.
Oh
that's
wow.
crazy. It's a
And
good
he knew
musical
he knew
ground.
so many people. It was kind of just like, okay, God's gonna give you what you need and what at the time that, you know, divine timing. So no matter, like, I think about it, like he knows so many people that I know, vice versa. We were just right there.
That's funny
And
how that works.
yeah, especially me playing sports and like going to football games and all that, just being social. You see so many people from other schools and it's like, how the hell did I not see you?
Oh
I'm
my
weak.
gosh.
You know, I didn't really get that feeling though, because you know what I'm saying. I really went to a lot of games and a lot of sporting days, so it's like I really feel like I really weeded through the pick of the list. Like I really looked through. You feel me? Not even that. There were so many interrelations of
Girl,
like
there
that's
was nothing.
girl, thank you, Janelle. So I'm saying, because even Janelle's situation, baby, look, the grace of God, Call of Duty came through.
Call of
Came
Duty.
through.
That's crazy.
Forget a dating app. Just get the latest
Yeah.
edition of COD.
Fix.
And for a
Call
long
of
time,
Duty.
for me personally, I didn't think I was gonna find love for a long time because, I mean, you know, growing up, I was like bullied a lot in high school, and I didn't like really any
Oh.
boys at school. So
Yeah.
that gave
So
me a
one
disdain.
similarity, real fast, growing up is that I know the frustration that she's saying as far as the name going. Because oddly, if y'all paid attention, her last name was Buckingham and mine was Cunningham. Oh boy. You know, the dumb jokes that I had received from, oh, you cutting the ham, oh, the dumb shit where it was like, okay, come
Fucking
on, bro.
it. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
At least people could pronounce your last name.
That part. I did have a hard time pronouncing
That's
your last
true.
name too.
Yeah.
I still get phone
Yeah.
calls. Is Tulsa Fidelio there? Like, I don't know who the hell that is.
You gotta give them a
That's
little room.
hilarious.
I want to like just point something crazy out about like Tesla's situation with Sean, because like there was back, I don't know entirely like at what point in the relationship it was, but I do remember that there was some aspect because Sean has sons. It's like Tesla mentioned, they don't have kids together, but Sean has sons or sorry, a son and a daughter, I think, right?
Correct.
Children is what I mean to say. And like, so the baby mama was obviously like alive and around to some extent. And I remember like one time it must have been like early in them talking, and at the time, like Tesla's hair, I think she'd been like putting lemon in it and like sitting out, so her hair was like kind of golden, like picking up the sun rays and shit.
Okay.
And I remember Sean telling us that like his baby mama had a dream that Sean was like hanging out with this like woman with gold hair that was like like short and round like Tesla is, and like she like described Tesla like to a T, and like just like one of those where a dream and
This
like
was, like, 2 weeks after I probably gave him.
yeah, it was crazy.
That's
She said 2
crazy.
weeks after they like she gave him the number.
Oh, okay. Because you know what I was gonna say to that was like, now check in, right? When you spend enough as a baby mom, okay, so like I feel like because this is scientifically true, y'all, and look it up because I ain't gonna ever say nothing that really ain't factual that I can't like really guide you to, but check it. Women, baby mothers that have taken the male sperm over and over have now, received a small part of DNA of him that she is literally in sync a little bit to a certain extent. Okay.
Oh, we
Now,
do get in sync with our partners 100%.
facts. I swear to God, you can look this up. So this is facts. And two, you know what I mean? For it takes a certain amount of time, but obviously that connection and how strengthful that connection was, it does matter. But that woman does take on a part of his DNA to the point where she can literally feel when something is off, when something is like different, and when there is a lie and a deception being told. And I know that sounds crazy. It's part of woman intuition. We're gonna get into it.
Women intuition. She's so in tune with him that she saw you in a dream.
Like, dude, that's the craziest thing right there. And I mean, you saying she described you and hadn't been around you yet?
That's crazy.
We never really, like, even till this day officially.
So, question: what type of relationship do you have with the kids or the baby mama, or is it bitterment? Is it sweet?
If I get raw, then during the beginning there was more of a relationship just because baby mama did live like in the city, so naturally he's gonna see his kids more. But it's just so much like ugliness surrounded. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My shit did some weird shit.
Whatever popped up made your screen brighter. It looks good. Leave it.
I don't know what happened, but as long as you can hear me and see me,
I'm good.
What? Sorry, what was I talking about?
Just a lot of shit surrounding
baby mama
the situation.
I never felt a need. Like, what do I need to, like, have? What do I need her in my life for, other than if she needs me? You know, I don't know. I had never been in that situation, so I kind of just rolled with it, and like, when his kids were there, definitely, yeah, I'm there to help no matter what he needs. Like, I'm there, but he also respected me so much that he knew, like, these are my kids. It's not your responsibility. You can still live your life and do what you want to do. And so there's so much respect between the two of us that it was easy to kind of make that transition. But then now, like, the past probably few years of our relationship, there's just been so much drama and just complete ugliness on that side that it's just like not something I would even want to get into or touch.
So question. I mean, did you ever imagine or even fathom, like, you know what I mean? You know, we all grow up and we all feel that, you know, we have that ideal, because, you know what I'm saying, Shelbs, you feel me? I'm sure when nobody thinks, oh, I'm going to, grow up and be a single mom. Like, you picture, I'm not going to have a kid. You know, you tell God your plan, then he laughs at you type shit, right? So my biggest thing is, like, did you ever have that thought process in your head that you're like, nah, I never want to be, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to deal with baby mama drama. I don't want to deal with any extra kids. Like, I wanted a solid family base where it's my kids and his kids. And, like, you didn't think you was going to have extra kids.
Right. Definitely. Like when, especially we met when we were 20. That's still pretty freaking young. And he had
Yeah.
his kids young, so I think he was still learning what fatherhood was all about too. So yeah, you can't plan like who you love or what your life is gonna be when God puts these people in your life. It's like, okay, well, I'm made for this. You kind of gotta just be like, all right, like this is it. And I've never really took a second thought, but it definitely it plays somewhat of a role in our relationship. Like I think we would probably have our own kid, by now if he hadn't already had. But do I like stress on it every day? No, because I know that when I'm ready, when it's time, because I've, by the grace of God, I have not been on birth control for like probably 2.5 years.
Oh, good
But I
God.
think when it happens, yeah, dude, I couldn't. I was a no matter what I tried, I was a bitch 24/7, just like
Oh yeah, no, it's
couldn't
gonna
even
make you
like.
crazy. It's gonna make you crazy.
Oh, dude, and I was like, and I hated feeling like that. Like I wasn't me, and I hated that.
I remember
That's
you telling me.
exciting.
I
But
would
the
literally have
overall
like
thing,
rage.
I'm gonna pray for you and throw my little mommy boo, juju's at you.
No,
And then
no, no, no.
also, I have to ask. I don't want to switch the conversation, but I definitely got to make sure this comes full circle because I'm sure people are like, "Oh shit, baby talk." Yeah, there's another couple in the room. Go ahead and talk about you and Q, Jay. What's going on with this baby situation, baby? And tell me if I'm pressing. You ain't got to
You're
answer. You
not.
feel me? If it's something personal. But I'm
No,
very curious because this man has been in your life and you've been gloating about this man for I don't know how long. He done came
that's
across
my
the
baby.
states to come and be with you and over a
Yeah.
damn digital video game. I'm just like, girl, look at you
Let me
snatching on
let me
damn
put this out
Xbox.
there first of all before I answer that. First of all, Quincy and I friend zoned him for like a year. We were
You,
friends. I was like, I am not trying to date nobody long distance. I am not trying to date my gamer friend. No, but
mm,
he very much pursued me. He very much wanted this. Okay, first of all, we just started FaceTiming every day and we built that connection. I really like to describe it like, we weren't in person, so we really got to know each other like mentally, be around each other on FaceTime all the time, like what's your day like, everything. He started making an effort to come out, and he moved out there for me, and when the time came, I moved out here for him. As far as babies, I want babies. Trust me, I want babies. All right. There is an age difference between us. Quincy is 3 years younger than me. So
you didn't call that an
all
age
that,
difference.
yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. When you're in your 20s, like, we all go through phases. Young men, for example, they need their stages to figure themselves out. And I never
Oh,
wanted to put that pressure on him.
okay. Can I pump the brakes though? Can I pump the
Yeah,
brakes?
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as us that we are dominant, natural. Like I don't, people want to say that the term alpha female is made up, so I won't even try to say that. But your feminine presence in a person that you are speaks, and it's very loud. What I
Yeah.
don't want you to do though is knock this man, black man as well. He's
Yeah.
strong and who he is. You know what I'm saying? He's strong enough to be with you. So you got to think about it. If he
Yeah.
said that he was potentially ready and the commitments that he has made in the youth of him being 3 years younger than you, he has decided to relocate and y'all, whatever circumstances, relocate back. But it's still, all in all, you can't say when you feel like his time is up because that almost makes it feel like his love is not for you. Like, don't neglect. You feel what
No,
I'm
it's
saying?
not that. It's really like, like I talked about earlier, like the financial situation that impacted me. I really want us to be like financially stable. I definitely believe there's like no perfect time. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I need $50,000 in the bank before I get pregnant. No, that's not realistic. And I'm ready to be a mom. I've always been like a nurturing person. We definitely want to get married first. There is religious pressure from his side of the family. Quincy was raised in church. He called
Well,
out
that's
earlier when you were in the church during Halloween. He's like, "Yep, every
I wish it could
time."
be true.
So there is pressure that way. I mean, we get a little bit of that from his side of the family as far as like we live together, we're not married. It's just, we're taking life, as it comes. I never even really wanted to be married just because of my childhood. Like, I'm like, I don't want to do that to a kid. Like, I have always wanted kids. The number of kids has always dwindled down. I'm ready when he is. So, we kind of have a timeline on it. Like, if it happens, it happens. But, I am on birth control. But, we actually recently have talked about like getting off of that, and we do want to get married within the next year. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm ready. I think he would be an amazing father. He's so loving and so nurturing and really my counterpart. And like in almost every sense of the way. Like, I will literally sit here and talk him up all night, but
Yay.
But yeah, he's just really a good partner for me, and I think I really want to establish like such a good foundation for us, just because of, my past. I've gone through a lot. He's stuck by my side through a lot of my ups and downs, and, going through, my realizations of like, what am I doing with my life, and depression, and going through counseling, and he's always held me down. And same with him, he's had a lot of like personal growth and becoming into himself and things like that. And so I think we're just taking our time, and that's not against anyone who didn't have anything planned at all. I think everything happens for a reason, and
100%.
babies are always a blessing, whether or not like you some people like that's not for them, and that's perfectly fine too. But just for us, we want to take our time, and we only want two. So unless we don't get a girl, he wants a girl first.
I feel it.
And I want a boy first.
What you just said, as far as things not happening, when you expect them to, you know what I mean? Because I could definitely say me as a person with, me thinking about taking my professional athleticism back over to overseas and back and forth and whatever, and not being able to necessarily do that right away, and certain different things, babies come at different times, but babies definitely are blessings. And I can definitely say I'm very, honest about motherhood, as far as how I feel, you know what I mean? And people go, if you go back, would you change it? I don't even answer that question, because it's not a question that is feasible. I can't answer it. I don't know. I can't tell you. But, at the end of the day, I definitely have figured out motherhood, you know what I mean? And the difference is sometimes things don't happen how you want them to. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. And, coming to meet my partner, we met in Las Vegas. He's coming from the East Coast. I'm West Coast. We're two different type of upbringings. Yeah. Him being, upbrung in foster care, me actually having my mom and dad there for a second, and then dealing with the divorce. So I kind of understand about abandonment, but not all the way. And then it's a lot of different shit, you know what I mean? Both come from big families and stuff, but still the same sign, Libra. You feel what I'm saying? So
wow, yeah.
And then my wait. So you're a Libra. Your baby's a Libra. Your baby is a Libra. It's just a whole bunch of air in the house.
That's true.
Gang.
Oh my
God. I swear I didn't plan this either. You know what I'm saying? So but I've always been about my sign. You feel me? I think that the scales of balancing life is everything. Balancing good and bad, balancing all that shit is everything. You know what I'm saying? Can't be too good. You gotta have a little bit of, salt in there. You feel me? So it's like, with that, I have navigated so much, and to see my partner, it's to realize how headstrong you are. You're dealing with this person, and then they come 6 years in, still rocking and rolling, you know what I mean? Getting adjustment to the whole family aspect a little bit, and just, you know what I mean? And having a kid around and not being able to just go when I want to on certain things, It definitely makes a difference. Now, if it was up to me, because like I said, I'm just an honest ass person, I would have planned it out better. Hell yeah. What you mean? What? Yeah.
Yeah, but life doesn't happen that way. Yeah.
Right. What it's given me is a sense of knowing how to kick it and roll. Survival is the fittest. Like, I got this shit to the day, and he will never have to worry or want for shit, because, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Yeah. And my mom kicked in. So y'all know this shit. Yeah. I think all of us can definitely speak about a certain background, that this podcast in general. I hope that more people continue to tune in, because it's going to come full circle with so many different topics of discussion. You feel what I'm saying? And
I definitely want to get into gender roles. I want to get into so many different things, you know what I mean? And I want other people to realize that I'm also, like I said, I'm very spoken and stuff. A lot of people will see that. But one thing I don't want people to not do is ask questions. If you have anything to ask questions. If you have something you want to know, definitely ask. We're going to get into sexuality. We're going to get into experiences. We're going to get into a lot of different things. Motherhood, like I said.
Yeah, speaking of the
So
chat,
excited.
super
Thank
great.
you
I
guys.
see
Those who did
you.
tune in tonight, I want to thank you guys so much. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, that's 100%. And then, Janelle, please tell these people one more time where they can go to make sure that they tune in on time on Wednesday when we're here. You feel me?
Wednesday, 8:30 Pacific time, Loud, Proud, and Sobbing on Twitch. We are also on Instagram, and you can join our Discord. Yeah, and if you miss it for whatever reason, it's always going to be available on our Twitch page. The full live stream will be there. I wanted to shout out Super Great. Been in the chat. They said, I love the long distance relationship talk. Feels good hearing stories like that, considering I've made really strong connections in the same way. Yeah, so gaming for me, to tie that in, I've built so many long lasting friendships. Quincy and I have friends that knew us before we were together that we still have friends today. They've been able to see us grow. They will be at our wedding one day. But yeah, gaming in general, the platform of Twitch is really great for bringing people together. You guys are all more than welcome to join our Discord. But I just want to say I appreciate everybody here. I feel like these, this 2 hours we've been talking has been amazing. Yep. I appreciate all three of you, and I think there's definitely so much more to come. I mean, there's so much I think that was unsaid today, and I'm just really happy that we're deciding to do this. Things are coming full circle, and we can all share our stories, where we come from, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from our guests. So every week we're going to have 1 or 2 guests new every single week to hear from, to ask questions to, get to know them, learn more about their individuality. So I also want to give props to Shelby for the idea of the podcast, being our host, and doing the hard work in the back end to get everybody together, to make sure we have guests moving forward, laying down the schedule. We have a schedule laid out for at least 2 to 3 months with new guests every single week. So we look forward to you guys coming back and joining us. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. We will get to them. But yeah, thank you everyone for being here. And I think this is a good place to wrap up if you guys want to add anything else. But yeah, this was amazing, and I think we're off to a good fucking start. So
absolutely,
let's go.
I just Oh, Jarek, you're here.
Hi,
oh my
Jarek.
Gosh,
Thank you guys for being here. Dwana, appreciate all the follows as well. We are trying to get our sub button. Right now we're looking to hit 50 followers, and we are going to be doing our streaming hours to hit those goals. So if you are lurking in the chat and you want to drop a follow, we would greatly appreciate it. So drop us a follow if you want. Follow us on Instagram or join our Discord. We will post the Discord again. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Do you guys want to add anything else, queens?
I just am like, damn, I mean, I knew that we could all talk, right? But like, damn, we went 2 hours and it's so
we
easy. I'm like,
talk.
We're going to have to add another episode.
We might have to bump up the time, honestly. Yeah, we'll keep everything posted and keep you guys notified via Instagram stories. So like I said, follow us over there, besties. And and yeah, so thank you all for joining us, and we are going to stop there. Hope everyone has a great night, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for being here. Bye. We look forward to more of you.
Yes. Goodbye.
Tune in.
Tune in.